and welcome. This is part 2 in looking at all of the books I own. In the first video I did, I talked about all my unread books, and these are all of my read books. And I'm seeing how many books I have total. I definitely have more unread books than read books. So, but hopefully I have more to say, since these are books I've actually read. The first video, I didn't always have much to say about the books. But anywho, I'll just hop right in. First, I'll just talk about a few. I talked about my favorite books from 2025 that I read, and I have a video up of that, so I won't go too in depth. But the first book, an owned book that I've read, is Tail Chaser Song by Tad Williams. I hope you can see the cover. I'm working with weird light. I feel like you're so far from me. Hold on. I hope that's better. I moved you a little bit closer. But I have Tail Chaser Song by Tad Williams. It's like a fantasy. If you like Watership Down, I think you'll like this. Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. These are all books I talk about in my favorites of 2025. So yeah, classic East of Eden by John Steinbeck. The Jason Rich trilogy, Rich Blood, Rich Waters, and Rich Justice. This is a legal thriller. Very, very good. And The Dark Alley by Naguib Mahfouz. So those are all books I talked about in my favorite books of 2025. So if you want a little bit more on those, you're welcome to watch that video. And then for the books I've read this month, and I'll be talking more about in my wrap up, I read Gilead. This is the first in a series. It's a father writing, it's like a dying man writing a long letter to his son, and definitely has a lot of biblical references. But I'll talk about this more in my wrap-up video. And then The Last Kingdom, I also talk about this more in my wrap-up video, but this is very good. It's historical fiction, and it's looking at the battle between the Danes and the British, as the Danes are trying to take over the British land. Very good book. I'll talk about this more in my wrap-up. This is the first in a series. I have this Elena Ferrante series, the Neapolitan Quartet. It includes My Brilliant Friend, The Story of a New Name, Those Who Leave and Those Who Stay, and The Story of the Lost Child. I also have a video where I talk about these novels in depth. I devoured these. So good. You're looking at the friendship of these two girls, and you're growing with them literally from when they're children to when they're older ladies, and they have children. So yeah, very, very good. Highly recommend. I wouldn't say this is a happy friendship story, but it is female friendship story. We're in the friendship vein. I have a few Virginia DeBerry and Donna Grant books. I absolutely love their books. They write a lot about sisterhood, friendship, mother-daughter relationships. Very, very good. The first book I ever read from them was Far From the Tree, and this is probably my favorite book by them. You are looking at, I have cats, they're gonna be making noise. You are looking at the, you have two very different sisters. One is your more organized, put together, very into appearances, and then you have the other, who I think she's an actress. She's the more free sister, and their father passes away, and they come home to deal with their affairs. He's left them a house, but then this house also has a connection to their mother, and it's them working out their relationship with each other, but also working out their relationship with their mother. I think I talked about this in a video in the past too, my favorite books I read that year. And I think I described it as like a Hallmark movie in a book, but like Hallmark Hall of Fame. Like it's giving that. It's just like a warm, it's good. And what I also love about them is their books have Black characters, but they're not centered around race, which I really, really like. Because sometimes you're like, I just don't want that right now. So this is very, very good. And then we have Better Than I Know Myself. And this you're following the friendship between these three girls. One of them has died, and you don't know which one it is until the end. Also very good. And then Trying to Sleep in the Bed You've Made. Two friends who were very close when they were younger, but then they grow up and they're not as close, and you're wondering what happened, and there's this secret, and this is also very, very good. Then I have J. California Cooper's, it's a series of short stories. It's called Some Love, Some Pain, Some Time. This, I feel like, is the first J. California Cooper book I've ever read, and the only one I've read. I'm not a big short stories person, but I absolutely devoured this one. I don't know. As the title tells you, they're stories about love, and I just remember being so good. They're all very different, but I was just captivated by the stories. Like, some of them are women looking for love. Sometimes they're not looking for love. Mistakes they make in love. Like, it's a very good short story collection. Highly would recommend that. Can't Hurt Me. These are in no particular order, as you can tell, because this book is very different. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. This is a nonfiction book. You are following his life, but he's also giving you tips on just being a better person, being a stronger person. I really enjoyed this book. I feel like I talked about this in a video too. And I really enjoyed this, but one thing I didn't like was he would talk about like failing and like working harder and evaluating his failures and things like that, but he like skims over his personal life, which I get. You don't want to be like putting your personal life out there, but I don't know. It just like, I was just like, it felt like something was missing in that regard. But yes, I have this. Deja's Watchtower by Brian James. This is part of a series. I mentioned the other two books in my unread books. But this is also a book about like love, romance. I've read this so long ago. I remember enjoying it, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it's about. I've read it a really long time ago, but a good little indie author. We went to school together. The Pepsi Cola Addict by June Allison Gibbons. I have another book that I'll be probably talking about. It's around here somewhere. And this was a sister her and her sisters, are they twins? Yes, they're twins. Twin sisters. They're put into like, they only talk to each other, and they go on like an arson spree, and they're put into like an insane asylum. But one of those, they used to write stories together, and one of the sisters got one of her stories published, and that is this book, The Pepsi Cola Addict. This is, I'm trying to remember exactly what it's about. I know it's about a boy who I think is obsessed with drinking Pepsi Cola, and he has like a sister, and I think there's a little dysfunction in their family. It's been a while since I read this, but I really, really remember enjoying this and remembering that it was just like a very unique story. So I would recommend that. I really hope like the top of my head is not cut off. I don't know. I'm struggling. I took all of my books off my bookshelf to do these videos, so that was a workout in and of itself. Anywho, this is a very good, unique book. Come Fly With Me by Camille DeMayo. This was a gift, but I really enjoyed this book. You're following two women. They're flight attendants, and they're both running from something in their life, and they wouldn't seem like they would be friends, but they end up becoming friends. And just the ending of this heart-wrenching ending, but it was very, very good. Unexpected ending, even though you know one of them. So at the beginning, one of them is like writing, I believe, and you know one of them has died. You don't know which one it is, and like you're reading, and it's just the ending. So good. The Reader. This was a movie. This is the movie cover. But I don't mind this movie cover that much. I might have talked about this in a past video as well, but this is about a woman. She has a relationship with a teenager, and she's like an adult. And then like years later, this teenager, he's, grown up, and she is on trial. And he can't believe what she's on trial for. He can't believe that she's done the acts that they're accusing her of. And, everything is not what it seems, but this was a very good book. Very much enjoyed this. Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Generational story. You're following this woman who has a child. She's unmarried. The guy she has a child with, he is married. She doesn't know that. And then you're just following like her life after that. She moves from Korea to Japan. It talks about like the relations between Korea and Japan, and her being an immigrant in that country and how they're treated. And very good book. I do remember liking the first half more than the second half. Like I liked learning about her story and her bringing up her child, and that part. I didn't so much care about like her children's lives her children's lives or her child's life as much, but I thought it was a very, very good, very, very good book. The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Very long time since I've read this, but it's very good. It's like people are living in this world where they just forget things exist. Like these things disappear and people don't remember that they ever existed, except some people do. But those people are taken by the memory police. And I think it definitely is like a metaphor for things in society and government control and things like that. But it's a very, very good book. Wild Ginger by Anchi Min. I think I talked about this in a past video. Very good book. You're following these two girls who growing up in Maoist China, and they are friends, and they're both kind of picked on. And you see how one, she is like going along with everything to survive, and the other one is really like trying to she's really like trying to acclimate into the culture and believing what she's doing, even though she's teased when she's younger because she's mixed race. Like her father's French and her mother is Chinese, and she looks different. And you're seeing like their friendship. There's a little bit of love triangle. The ending of this is like a blockbuster ending. That's what I remember when I was reading it. I was like, I could see that in a movie. Like, it was very good. Highly recommend this book. Memoirs of a Geisha. This is about this life of this geisha. Not quite, could you call them, if there were like levels of prostitution, the geishas would be like the highest level. I think it's deeper than just that, but they were kind of like, hired women for entertainment. But this is also a movie. Very, very good book. I know some people have a problem with this because it's written by a man, and it's also written by a non-Asian man. And so some people some people, I've seen people talk about that, but I don't know. It didn't bother me. I thought it was a very good book. And you're following like her journey her life over time, from a young woman to an older woman. Then I have Amy Tan's The 100 Secret Senses. Amy Tan, she writes a lot. I think I mentioned in my other videos, she writes a lot like mother-daughter, sister stories, that type of thing. This is a sister story. And you have like one sister's from China, which is like her half sister, and then one is more Americanized. And in true Amy Tan fashion, they have misunderstandings. One of them doesn't appreciate the other, but then an experience happens and it helps them like understand the other person more. That is all of her books, but I absolutely love it. So that's this. And then I also have like her probably most popular book, The Joy Luck Club. This follows 4 sets of mothers, 4 sets of daughters. You're seeing like their relationship. You're going back in time to like the mother's upbringing, seeing how that impacts how they treat their daughters. And it's just, it's a very good book. And I love this edition. Nicholas Sparks, Nights in Rodanthe. This is the first Nicholas Sparks book I ever read. It's also a movie with Diane Lane and Richard Gere. Quick love. You have a woman who's watching an inn for her friend. There's only one guest, and yeah, they're gonna fall in love. And in true Nicholas Sparks fashion, there's always tragedy and death. And Nicholas Sparks, A Walk to Remember. Again, and this one is like high school students. It's different than the movie. The movie is more modernized. This book takes place, I think, in the 1950s. And I do think that makes it, in the movie, it's like the 2010s, I think. But like, it is a different culture, different manners. I didn't realize they took place in different times. But you basically have like the bad boy, even though in the book, he's not like as much of a bad boy as like the movie anyway. But yeah, you have like the bad boy and then like the pastor's daughter, and you know, there's romance, opposites attract type of thing. And of course there's tragedy and death. I laugh, that's not funny, but like it's just funny because that's all of his books. That's all of his books, but I absolutely eat them up. Totally different. The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. This is kind of like a self-help book, introspective. I would like to reread this. I remember when I read it, I really enjoyed it. The Alchemist. This is a man going on a journey. Says a lot about life. The back, if that gives you an idea, to realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. But I feel like he's like a shepherd. It's been a while since I've read this. He's like a shepherd and he's going on this journey. He's gonna learn stuff about himself. Maybe I should reread some of these books. That would be nice. Paulo Coelho, who is the author of The Alchemist, also wrote The Archer. This is more just like short snippets. I wouldn't say it's poetry, but again, he writes stuff that makes you like think about life, appreciate life, look at your life type of books. Homebody by Rupi Kaur. This is poetry. I had another book by her that I ended up giving away. It has a black cover. I feel like that book is more popular by her, but this is poetry. Yorsa Dali Ward's The How, Notes on the Great Work of Meeting Yourself, another nonfiction introspective book. I really enjoyed this. I tabbed it a lot. I mentioned this in a past video. And then I have The Terrible by her, which is about her life. I didn't like this as much, mainly because it talks about her life when she was like younger and she's making really bad decisions. And it was just like, I mean, we live and we learn, but it was just like, that was unexpected. But this is like a memoir about her life. She does have another book that I do want to read. I think that one's a fiction book. Whereas these are like memoir and like self-help. So I might give that one a try. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel de Ruiz. This classic self-help. I read this when I was in my early 20s and I just remember being really impactful. But again, I probably should reread it. With the Devil's Help by Neil Wooten. This is a memoir. It's a guy who grew up in Alabama. I currently live in Alabama. He's an Alabama author. And it just talks about his upbringing with his dad. Like, I forget the year, but it's like during a time when mental health maybe isn't such a known thing. And his dad has like, is like bipolar. And it just talks about his upbringing and dealing with that and his family and his grandfather and everything. And the interesting thing about this book is, even though it seems like a really heavy subject, he's also kind of a comedian. And I found myself laughing at parts of this. Elizabeth Gilbert's City of Girls. I've read this a long time ago. I think this is about a girl who goes to live with her aunt, and her aunt has this house full of like these very like out there people. And I think this is in like the 1930s. I went to like this book event where we got to design the cover, and I like bedazzled it a little bit. And you're just seeing like her and how she's impacted by like the people she meets. And it's been a while since I've read this, but again, should reread some of these. How to Shake the Other by Derek Palacio. How to Shake the Other Man, I should say. I've read this a very, very long time ago. It's very short, but I couldn't tell you what it's about. I read another book by him that I really enjoyed, and then I read this one, not realizing it was so short. I don't feel like he's written that much, or at least I maybe could look him up to see if he's written anything else. But that book I think it's called The Mortifications or something like that. Very good book. I really enjoyed that. Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. This one was crazy. It's like this couple, like this perfect, on paper, you see them, they look like the perfect couple. And like, they talk about like doing something different in life, doing something new in life. And it is about, in this marriage, one person like is just talking about it, and one person's like actually trying to do it. And you just see like the disaster like that comes from it all. Like, oh, it's very, very good. Very, very good book. Amy Tan's Bonesetter's Daughter, in the same vein as the Joy Luck Club, but it's looking at a mother-daughter relation. Well, actually it's looking at the lady's relationship with her aunt, but female relationships with like their caretaker. And you are it's very much in the same vein as the Joy Luck Club, except it's just one daughter and mother and female figure. And I actually kind of like this more than the Joy Luck Club. It was easier to follow, but very, very good. Really enjoyed this. Haruki Murakami's Norwegian Wood. I think this is about two people grieving the death of their friend. One is like a man and a woman. The woman was like the boy's, the person who dies, the boy, that was like her boyfriend. And then the other guy was the boyfriend's best friend. And then they kind of have like a little something maybe, but then it's dysfunctional. Like, it's dysfunctional. The Autobiography of Malcolm X, one of my favorite books ever. What they teach you in school about Malcolm X, it just skims the surface. Like, and this gives you a bigger picture. Like, I loved learning about his life when he was younger, and he was about that life. Like, he was about that life. Like, so interesting. And it's so tragic, like, because it would have been so interesting to see like the type of man he became, and you see how his ideas and his thoughts and his ideologies, like they're changing over time. And it just would have been so cool to see like who he would have become. Passing by Nella Larson. It's about two women who are friends, and one chooses to pass for white and the other chooses to be black. And just their interaction, waiting to excel, friendship between these four black girls. Good book, good movie too. Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Water Dancer. I have this other book by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I accidentally put this in my unread books, but I've read this. This is the first book I read by him. This is nonfiction. He writes a lot about race, and this one he's writing to his son. This is nonfiction. This is his first, and I think his only fiction book. It's about like slavery, people like trying to escape slavery. There's like a time travel aspect to it. It kind of missed the mark, but I like what he was trying to do. But I think if you want something like that, you could probably just read like Kindred by Octavia Butler. But I appreciated what he was trying to do, and I thought the writing was good, but he kind of just missed the mark for me. I think it would have just been better just him writing like a slavery fiction story instead of trying to put in like that supernatural aspect to it. Walter Mosley's Devil in a Blue Dress, great book. It's like a detective. You see all the shenanigans he gets into. Like Pastor Dan said right now. I hope you can hear me with the heat on. But very good book, and very good movie with Denzel Washington. The movie's a little different than the book, but I do like both, but it is a little different than the book. Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. It's about a man who turns into a bug, and you just see how his family treats. Okay guys, I've been trying to record this video in one day. My battery just died. I just put a new one in. We have 84%, so we should be good. Let's see, hopefully have enough memory space. I think I was talking about this. He turns into a bug. You see how his family treats him. And I don't fully get this. The ending of this is just, it's a little sad. I felt like his family was a little unappreciative. I feel like this has a lot of themes and things. I feel like this could deserve a reread, but parts of it didn't make sense to me, if I'm being honest. Sybil, you're following a woman with multiple personalities, and her therapist is giving you like it's like through the perspective, I think, of her therapist and this journalist, I think. Very good book. Loved it. Would love to reread it. I just find books like this so interesting because I can't imagine like not trusting my own mind. Like that is so, it's scary to me. Then I have Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. Someone dies on a train. You're trying to figure out who done it. I didn't particularly like this book. I don't know if it's just this Agatha Christie or what. It just kind of missed the mark for me. I read this for a book club. I'm probably going to give this book away. I don't see myself rereading it. Say Nothing. This is nonfiction. Absolutely love this book. You're following like the history of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. You're seeing the conflict between the IRA and, I'm trying to remember what the other, like the nationalists, is that what they were called? But you're seeing like the conflict between the two sides, and but it's all like, it's like narrative nonfiction, so it's really engaging. Very good. I think I talked about this in a past video. I think it was one of my favorite books I read in the year that I read it. The Silent Twins. This was the book I was talking about when I was talking about the Pepsi Cola addict. These are the two girls who they went on the arson spree. They only talked to each other. People thought they were crazy. They were put in an insane asylum. Kind of an injustice to them a little bit because they weren't really crazy. They were just like extremely shy and had like speech impediments and were just like a little, like very sheltered and like a little crazy, but not like literal crazy, you know. But yeah, you're just seeing about like their story and their life. It's a very good book. Highly recommend. It's also a movie. I thought the movie was okay, but I do like the book more. Little Princess. I enjoyed this. Like you're following a little girl and her father is rich. She's treated like a little princess at this boarding school, but then her father like disappears or something. He's dead. He dies in the war, and then you see how like how people treat her so differently, but you see like the positive attitude she keeps throughout everything, and that's very endearing. I've seen this movie with Shirley Temple. The movie's a little different. I like both the book and the movie. Wuthering Heights. Some people say this is a love story, but it's really not. You have Catherine and Heathcliff. They got a toxic, I don't even know, can you call it relationship? Like, the universe don't want me to finish this video. My memory card just filled up. I think I was talking about Wuthering Heights, but love story, Heathcliff, Catherine, like he loves her. She seemed like she playing with his emotions a little bit, in my opinion. And then you're just like seeing their life over time. I think movies that depict this, they only share like the first half of the book. They never show the second part of the book, which I don't understand why. Well, I get why, because it's not like a perfect ending. Every character is flawed in this, but very good book. Pleasing Hour by Lily King, an au pair who has an affair with the au pair is like a live-in nanny. She has an affair with like the father of the family, and you're just seeing everything that transpires, and you see this was good. It kind of missed the mark a little bit for me. I wanted a little bit more drama, but you see why the wife in this family is the way that she is. And yeah, overall I thought it was really good. Lily King's an automatic buy. The first book I read by her was Writers and Lovers, and I think this is probably a more popular book. In this you have a girl who is a young girl trying to like make it, trying to find her voice, and you see her kind of choosing between two men. One is older than her, established, and then the other is more her own age, kind of like her. And you're gonna see which one she picks. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I really enjoyed this. I love the prose in this book. You're seeing a gay man's life, his relationship, like investigating his like sexuality, but also like his relationship with his mother. That's a really heavy topic in this, and I thought it was really good. I think this is Ocean Vuong's first novel. I know he has written a lot of poetry. Diary of an Oxygen Thief. This is so good. A guy who likes breaking women's hearts, and then he himself is toyed with, and you are following that. And honestly, I felt a little sorry for him, but also not. But this is very good. This is the first in a series, but it's a fun book. It's a good book. A Snow White Christmas, a Fun Light. This is like a playoff of the Seven Dwarfs. And then it also has like a little bit of religion in here. It's been a while since I've read this, but not too much religion, but it's like a playoff of the Seven Dwarfs. And it's like this girl goes out, she gets lost, she gets stuck in the snow, and she goes to this cabin with a guy. It's like a love story. Very, very good. Even though the cover was clip art, but it's a good book. Dry Heart. I read this not that long ago. I just remember it's like a woman who's having issues with her husband. Like she has a young baby, and I just remember the ending being very tragic. Like very tragic. Normal People by Sally Rooney. You want a book with somebody in relationships, the characters don't grow, they don't change, like that's this for you. Like I go on her, but I thought this was fine. I didn't like that the characters don't have growth. You basically have two people, like a girl and a boy from like different one, I think the girl is very well off and the boy isn't, and you see their kind of like unhealthy relationship over time. Speak. This is also a movie. I read this when I was younger. I think it's a young adult book, but you have this girl who stops talking and suddenly stops talking, and nobody knows why, but then you learn. I believe she's also like an artist. It's a good book. I don't want to give anything away. Little Bee. This is a refugee story. You have like I forget what country they're from, but basically you have this girl and this British woman, and something happens and they forever are connected, and you see how things transpire over time. This is a very good book. I could see this as a movie if it already hasn't been made into one. Sisters by Daisy Johnson. I read this not that long ago. I just remember it being about like these two sisters, and one like pushes the other to do things, but then like everything you think is like not even. It's like, can you trust our narrator? Can you trust what you're reading? It just was like everything you thought is not. And it's just like, it was very good, but it's a little trippy, as the cover suggests. The Jane Austen Remedy. This was a gift. This is about an older woman who like totally changes her life. And it's supposed to be about how Jane Austen like inspires this this new view in life that she's undertaking. But really, I feel like it's just like a little bit about her life and more just about like Jane Austen novels and why she loves them, and how you can read them at different times in your life and take something different from them. I've only read 2 Jane Austen novels, so I don't think I appreciated this as much as someone who's a big Jane Austen fan. That one that I have read is Northanger Abbey that I own. I don't remember exactly what this is about. I know it's about a girl who's really into like gothic books, and she kind of romanticizes life a little too much, and it gets her into some interesting situations. The Nursery, which is about a woman in the first few kind of weeks of having a newborn, and just like that thought process she goes through and being a new mom. Know Where the Cage Bird Sings. It's a memoir, Maya Angelou classic. James Baldwin, Another Country. This was very, very good. I also have The Fire Next Time. This is nonfiction. And then I also have Giovanni's Room. I always say Giovanni's Room is my favorite, which you're following this guy, and he has a relationship with another man, and just like the struggle with that. But I don't know, Another Country is good too. Another Country is good too. In this one, you're following like a musician, and he gets with like this white girl, and you know that whole thing with like interracial dating, and then you have his sister, and then the brother's friend. And I just remember reading this and thinking it was really good, and how people might say like, I'm not racist, but what do your actions say? Or like they're like trying to be there, but like they have these prejudices that they're just not even aware of. Have a Choice of Weapons by Gordon Parks. Oh, I absolutely love this book. It's a memoir about his life. I can't believe what people were dealing with, like kids in the 1930s. Like the fact that this man grew up to become like as great as he is, like is amazing, or as great as he was is amazing. Amazing photographer. He went on to do films. He just did so much. He was a Renaissance man. He was really good at all of it. Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, classic. I really enjoyed this. This is just very fun, very light, very different from the tone of Lord of the Rings. To Kill a Mockingbird. I read this in high school. It's been a while. I know you have somebody like on trial. I think his daughter is like assaulted. A black man's daughter is like assaulted, and the father reacts, and then you see like the trial and the prejudices. It's a race story. In that same vein of race stories, we have Native Son. This is like seeing a train go off the track, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. But you basically have a man who he kills a white woman, and you just see like you see his capture, you see him on trial, and it's just like it's like he's a product of his environment, and it's like his society, like it just could have been different if society was different. But at the same time, I do like the issues that Richard Wright is bringing up. I don't like that he uses this character because it's a flawed character, but that could be part of his point. This was a hard read. It's one where I was like, I don't feel like I need to read this again ever, but maybe I'll read it again. I don't know. I have Black Boy, which is a autobiography about Richard Wright's upbringing and life. All Quiet on the Western Front, one of my favorite books ever about World War I from a German soldier's perspective. And then we have The Road Back, which is kind of like a sequel. It's like after the war and their life in Germany and what they come home to. Very, very good books. I think I made a video about these two too. The Blue Castle, I read this for a book club. It's the first book I've read by Ellen Montgomery. I know she's also the author of the Anne of Green Gables series. This is like a romance. Yeah, it's like a romance, but very like very light and like Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. Very different from the movie. Like, this woman trying to find herself, looking for love. She a gold digger, but she also wants love. But I didn't like her character in this. The movie is different, but I wouldn't say it's better, but I like the character, Holly Golightly's character in the movie more than the book. 1984, classic, one of my favorite books. These are books I've read in school. The Catcher in the Rye, another classic. Lord of the Flies, another classic. Animal Farm, classic. Pigman by Paul Zendale. This is one of my favorite books when I was younger. It's like these two kids, and I think there's like a man they make fun of, and they go in his house, and it's just like about their escapades, but it's a good book. Watership Down, another great book. Classic. Could you say that's a classic? Should be. The Awakening, I think this is described as like the first like feminist novel. I didn't like her character. Like, she's oppressed by her womanhood in this time, but at the same time, like she decides to like just like go for life, and she just wants to experience and live. But girl, she's a little selfish in my opinion. Annie John by Jamaica Kincaid. I enjoyed this. I think Jamaica Kincaid had a interesting relationship with her own mother. In this, you have a mother-daughter relationship, a little strained. I think that the daughter wants to go off and do something different than her family expects from her. If I'm remembering that correctly, I think it takes place in the islands. What island? Antigua. I'm about to say Bahamas, but no, Antigua. But I thought this was a good book. Short, but very good. And then I also have My Brother by Jamaica Kincaid. This is nonfiction. It's talking about her brother, and he's dying from AIDS, and just her relationship with him, dealing with that. They aren't very close, but she still feels a connection. A little bit stream of consciousness. I didn't like this as much, but I think Jamaica Kincaid's an amazing writer, and the writing makes this bearable. I Put a Spell on You, the autobiography of Nina Simone. I love Nina Simone. I love her music. Kind of tragic story, but very good. Very, very good. You're just seeing her life, her upbringing, how she becomes like how she, like the singer that she is, and how it felt so isolating. You know, she has mental health issues at times, and you just learn about her spiraling. Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. I also have My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier, and I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I love her. She's also an autobiographer for me. I think my favorite of these is still My Cousin Rachel, even though I think most people like Rebecca more. But she's like an author where like you'll be reading, and then she just has this twist, and everything is different like than what you thought. Jamaica Inn, I kind of saw the twist, but in these, I didn't see the twist. Sister Carrie, you are seeing a young woman. You're just seeing a young woman, her trying to find herself, the relationship she gets into. This is written in a time where it's not proper to live with a man if you're not married, and she does, and so this book was a little scandalous for its time. I have The Count of Monte Cristo here. I haven't read this book. I want to read this book. This should have been in my other video. So, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Very good. What is this, like dark academia? That's what people say it is. Pretty good book. Somebody dies, you know who dies, but you're learning about like how he dies, who done it, like what happened. Like, it's very good. It has a lot of like I feel like Greek, Roman, mythological references. I remember enjoying this when I read it. The Journey Home by this guy. You're basically following this guy's journey as he becomes like a swami. He's like an American, he's a white guy who like goes to India, and you just see his journey of like self-discovery and in the life he chooses. Like Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Just about like creativity, being open to creativity. I read this in my early 20s. You're More Than You Think You Are. This is kind of another self-help book. I have some Penguin Black classics. Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. Very good. I have Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. These are all classics. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I thought East of Eden was my first Steinbeck, but I've read this in school. I remember reading this in school. S.E. Hinton, The Outsiders, also a pretty good movie with Patrick Swayze. They're like a gang sort of, but like it's just like it's just the environment they're born into. It's a very good book. I think I read this in school too. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And finally, last but not least, we have The Cairo Trilogy by Naguib Mahfouz. One of my favorite books ever. Guys, this has been a labor of love making these videos. So those are all the books I've owned, and these are all the books that I own that I've read. I hope you've enjoyed this 2-part series. Hopefully you watched the first video. Are any of these your favorites? Should I do a reread of any of these? I've been thinking of trying to make a video of like my favorite books of all time. I feel like that would be so hard though, because it would be hard to pick, but like my top 10. Is that something you'd like to see? Also, if you love any of these, let me know. I have to put all of these books back. But thank you for watching. I'm back. I forgot to count them, but I just counted them, and I have 105 read books. And if you count my unread books, I think it was at 264 plus the Counting Monte Cristo, so 265. That means I have 365 books. That's crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that update. Yeah, let's get to reading.